Good evening. Welcome to the July 8, 2025 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation, and also I'm going to add a moment of just silence for all the people in Texas. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. We'd also offer up our prayers for all the people affected by the floods in Texas. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. The clerk will please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mr. Syracusa?
Here.
Mayor Dreese?
Here. All right, moving on with the agenda, there are no presentations scheduled for this evening. Item number 6, reports from volunteers. At this time, are there any reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? Yes, sir. Come on up. Mr. Peter.
My name is Peter Schmidt. I report as a volunteer. The whole work started with the Economic Advisory Committee, where we discussed to review the zoning permit application process and see whether we could improve that. So I had a few discussions and started actually to volunteer more than just discussions to see whether we can improve the zoning application process itself, yeah, and make it nicer. It's a crowded day today, and it looks like a full agenda. I will stay very, very short, under 5 minutes. Let's start with motivation. If I ask randomly people, how much waste, fraud, and inefficiency is in our federal government in Washington, I get answers between 5 and 25%, and you can pick your own number. And then, since I like to discuss politics with people, I ask them, what do you think New Jersey is doing? Are they better or are they worse, or how are they? And actually, I get a laugh every time. New Jersey is much, much worse than the federal government. And then, of course, I couldn't resist to ask, how about the township of Pequannock? Is it squeaky clean? And of course, I don't know the number. So I should say these numbers are moonshine numbers. Everybody guesses, and we don't know them enough. But it's good enough for this argument. So I actually went to my assistant, ChatGPT, and asked him about that, and it gave me actually a little bit more solid number, 2 to 5% federal government, which is 128 to 320 billion dollars. Much of it is already actually substanced a little bit more clear. State of New Jersey, 4.4 billion. It says on average, because it doesn't know anything about Pequannock, on average in normal municipalities, 1%. Yeah. For our budget, it is, I just made roughly the number, $500,000. I think one can see two clear things out of it. I think there is clear opportunity to improve improve efficiency, whatever efficiency means. Waste, fraud, I'm not so sure about this community. I have not seen fraud at all. Waste is, do we spend the right money on this or do we spend the right money on that? That's waste or not. Inefficiency, yes, there is. There is a lot of inefficiency, like in any other municipality. It is not Pequannock itself. So I think there's enough opportunity. Let's pick it. So let's go to the next page. So what we started actually with the zoning office is taking this atrocious zoning permit application and trying to convert that on the web and making a web form that is much simpler to fill out, which is on the right side. And make it much easier and give actually the people help to find their block and lot number and their zone for residential applications, give them much better guidance. And that is currently a project that we do together with the zoning office and myself, and it's coming along and it actually works already to a certain extent. There are many other things, like why should people fill out their block and lot number when the zoning office knows that so much better? We are putting burden on many little things, makes it harder for the citizens to interact with our community. I think there's a lot of areas where things can be done easier. So this is current activity, and now go to the last one, my favorite. I asked ChatGPT to fill out the form for me to build a fence in my backyard. And it gave me the Word document on the left side. It has all the information that is required on the form. Yeah, how high the fence is so actually in 2 to 3 years we have to agree on that, maybe my AI can fill out the forms for me instead of me filling out forms by myself. At least make me a proposal and I make a few changes to it, make my life easier. But then I said, dear ChatGPT, now you are the zoning officer. Read this proposal and make me a recommendation whether you approve it or not. And if you approve it, just write everything so I can just sign it and it's approved. And it does it. It took my application, processed it, and said approved on it. So it will make our life in the town administration easier as well. This is 2 to 3 years in the future. But I would volunteer to go towards that. And not only for zoning, I think there are many other areas. Okay, that's my presentation. Okay?
Well,
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It looks like you put a lot of work into it. ChatGPT I know nothing about, so I can't comment on that. Anybody else have any comments?
No, thank you very much for the time
make
spent
a
on
comment
that.
too? Then, yes, we all should learn a little bit more to work with computers and the internet, and I would volunteer to teach people a little bit as well. No excuse.
No excuse, all right.
No excuse. Okay?
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I might, I appreciate Peter's efforts, and I do approach some of the AI stuff with cautious optimism, because there's a human element that I think does have a benefit, but I will offer Peter 100% raise for every milestone that he accomplishes.
But thank you. All right, any other volunteers from our community? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to go to public comment section. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. Additional time is reserved later in the meeting. We welcome comments, suggestions, questions during the comment period. However, the purpose of this is to allow public comment, not to engage in dialogue. If you have a specific question, please feel free to pose it and then follow up with staff via telephone or email. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, please. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Yes.
Colleen McMahon, 17 Sherman Ave, Pompton Plains.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for bringing the Sherman Ave sidewalks to the agenda 2 weeks ago. I unfortunately didn't know about it, and thanks to Councilwoman Melissa for letting me know. 2 days later, we received a letter at our door about the Sherman Ave sidewalk replacement project. Thank you, because most of our neighbors on our street. Now, if you go down Sherman Ave, we are a half street of sidewalks, one-sided, not both, half. We go from the Turnpike to Union Ave, not even Union Ave, and across the street right at let's use number 3 Turnpike, which is really Sherman Ave and Turnpike, the Hellier House. So with that, your engineer report, I'm sad to say, was incorrect in the data that he gave. It did not give the clear picture of the conditions of our sidewalks. I'm here for my own sidewalks, but the engineer asked us all to email what our thoughts were from the options that you gave us. You all were copied on my email. And thank you to the mayor. He's the only one that responded back, and I'm still waiting for Frank Russo to respond back, because he's the one that asked for the email. My biggest thing with our sidewalks, we have about 20 pads in front of our own house, of which his report had something different. His report also said they're spalling down the street. Spalling, I had to look up, I didn't know what it meant. The concrete is crumbling in bad shape, and he noted 3 properties with it. Well, that's not true. You cannot walk down Sherman Ave and not trip, because my next door neighbor, there is none there. So with that, again, back to my own. So I want the sidewalks replaced from the Turnpike and across the street. There's a little strip by the Hellier House, number 3 Sherman, and whatever number he is on the top of the street. Replaced all of them, not just piecing them, all of them, so they look the same all the way down to Union Avenue, or right to, actually, or Catasanas, right, to his house, right, to that. All of them replaced. My other big problem in front of our house, we've always loved our trees. The trees are the problem. The engineer's report said the trees are not the problem. I'm telling you, they are. I gave you pictures of the 2 trees on my property. The roots are above the ground. It's ready to come down. So next I'm going to have to go back. I don't know who to talk to, but whether DPW, somebody's got to come, they have to come down. They're going to take out my pool, they're going to take out my fence, or they're going to take out the telephone pole. They should not be, the roots are way above the ground. Those are maybe 5 years old. They're not old trees. The original ones are long gone. I've lived in this house for a very long time. We had 4 in the front. They were beautiful. Slowly, we lost them. And these were the 2 newer ones. We actually put one other on the other side. It couldn't take. But right now, it's very dangerous. We do get them cut. They come because they grow so fast, they impede the sidewalk. You can't even walk down it. So I'm here as my own, but I'm pretty sure my neighbors, because I spoke to many of them, contacted the engineer asking him to do option 2, which was, you guys had gotten, the report gave a couple different options. The letter streamlined it, and it said existing affected sidewalks. No, we want them all to look the same. There's a new pad in front of ours because we had to. When I saw the little kid fell off his bicycle and the kid was crying hysterically, that's when we had to put a new pad in because it was in front of our house. So it should make sense and meet. So I think that's the most important. I see Manor Ave is on the agenda tonight to get theirs done. And again, I don't know, the report's kind of hard there. I don't know if the whole street's getting it, if half the streets are getting it. It's hard to say because I wasn't in on the first bid project. But I just really want you all to take the consideration of redoing that portion. But I also want to say, this 2 top of the street, what I'm talking about, Fred Azrak and the Hellier House, they were not notified. We all received a handwritten, and they're on your report. They did not get this letter that was hand-delivered to our home. I personally sent it off to Fred because I wanted to know what his opinion was. What did he want? He said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I talked to John Hellier, the owner. He did not get this letter also, just so you know. So I feel everybody's got to be on the same page. So please get me sidewalks. This is well over 20 years. Dave Holberg knew about this. We tried, that's how long it's been that we've been waiting for it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Once we're done, I'll have Adam just address it. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. We wanted to get your take on it, the residents' take on it before everybody did something.
Well, Frank would have the emails back, but
Okay.
we don't get a copy on that.
All right, anybody else with public comment, please? Yes, Paul, you're next.
Hi, Simon Hardy, 98 Mountain Ave. I would like to take the opportunity to thank council and staff for their work and insight that they've had into making the new courts at Greenview a reality. They are outstanding. Those of us that have already played on them, they are truly outstanding. Thank you for appropriating the funds.
Are you going to teach me how to play?
If you want to come down anytime. I can't, but you have to
I have
feel
no
it'll
idea.
teach you. It is awesome. But thank you, and thank you to the staff for seeing the project through to completion. I know it's been a lot of work. I've said it before, and I'm pleased to say it again. This is likely the best town council we've had in years. You guys are getting projects done that have long since been neglected, all for the benefit of the community, and we're grateful. Specific to the minutes of council meeting dated May 27th, I'd like to address the need for private booking at the new courts versus open play. More specifically, that I don't think we need private booking at Greenview on those new courts. If, however, council decides to include private booking, I will support that. Open play allows everybody to use the courts fairly. It doesn't discriminate against anybody at any time. If you want to play with your grandkids, it's fine. If you want to meet the same group of ladies on a Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, it works for that. If you want to play with a group of friends and nobody else, it totally works for that as well. The term open play or walk-on only addresses how the courts are handled when people are waiting to go onto the court. It has no impact on the scoring the game at all. It only refers to what happens when people are waiting for a turn to go onto the courts. That's it. That's what the term open play or walk-on means. To be fair, in the past, I don't think I've done a particularly good job of explaining to council liaison at the Parks and Rec advisory meetings what open play is. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to explain it in more detail. And like Mr. Schmidt, I have some AI examples that I can share. If council does decide that a private booking option is still warranted, I'd like to respectfully ask that we look at an alternative to Community Pass. Community Pass is the name of the software that we use currently to book the courts. It's made for booking fields, and I don't know if it works well or not. I can't speak to that, but it doesn't work well for booking courts, pickleball courts. We had issues with Community Pass in 2024, and I'll highlight a few. There was a lack of knowledge or awareness that Community Pass is a booking option for the courts, and only 5 families used it consistently in the month of August in 2024. Some of the people that did use Community Pass regularly gamed the system, and they gamed it because the system has inherent weaknesses and they took advantage of it. There is no limit in Community Pass to how many times you can book the court. You can book it 1 time, you can book it 9 times in a month, or 29 times in a month. You can book 2 courts, you can book 3 courts, you can book them for 2 hours, or you can book them for 9 hours. There's no limits. It doesn't have a mechanism for that. There's no limit to how far in advance you can book over a 2-month period. You can go to the courts during an open play session, and we saw this. This was pretty tough. Everybody's cycling in, cycling out, and somebody took out their phone that didn't want to wait 6 minutes for a turn, booked the courts on the spot, and sent people home. I said, I just booked the courts. Now you guys have got to get off. right? So if we do go down the path of needing, which I don't think we do, a private booking system, so you can book the courts, I would respectfully ask that we look at an alternative to Community Pass. There's one other thing. There's also if you're a no-show, it doesn't matter. There's no penalty. Thank you again for your time and attention. Thanks again for what you guys have given us. The Greenview Park courts are spectacular.
Right. Thank you for your comments.
And thank you for all you've done.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, yes, actually, let Paul go first, and then you can go.
Good evening, Paul Mailer, Pequannock Township resident. And to the Republic for which it stands. We all put our hands over our hearts just a few minutes ago and made a pledge to the American Republic. And in that sense, every American is a Republican, defined as a person who supports the idea of the United States having a president whose rule is limited by a constitution. Today, the separation of powers and checks and balances ratified in that Constitution are being systematically destroyed by a would-be Republican king. Immediately after the pledge, we all prayed that these proceedings would benefit everyone in our township, and I'm here tonight to ask that you stand for that pledge and up to that prayer and against a Republican king. An oxymoron, that notion, a Republican king, because by definition there can be no such thing. But that is what is happening today in America as the rule of law is ignored by masked thugs acting as federal police, and senators are taken to the ground for having the temerity to ask a federal official a question, and law-abiding citizens are sent to a concentration camp in the Florida Everglades. When you heard that ICE was recently in Bloomingdale or at the Costco in Clifton, were you confident that behind those masks and unmarked cars, they were actually ICE agents? Can you imagine our police department roaming the township wearing masks and breaking into homes without warrants? Of course you can't. Then why, by our silence, are we condoning it in neighboring communities? At the Republican King's birthday party, in our nation's capital, the United States Army marched decidedly out of step in defiance of a seriously flawed commander-in-chief. And on that same day, as many as 600 Pequannock and nearby residents stood just outside this building in peaceful protest. Our police department was there, in uniforms, with no masks, of course. They performed their serve and protect duties admirably and without prejudice, as we all knew they would. Why are we not demanding the same from ICE? The Republican Party, of course, is a very different thing and has an impressive history. It is the party of Lincoln and Eisenhower, both of whom protected our nation during our Civil War and the World War II threat of Nazi fascism. So those Americans who call themselves Republican have had every right to be proud, until now. As our duly elected representatives in Pequannock Township, you all have an incredible opportunity and an equally daunting responsibility to history. Your choices are to remain silent or to speak out for the United States Constitution and to the republic for which it stands, to which you pledge allegiance at every meeting. To remain silent makes a mockery of that pledge and desecrates the prayer that follows. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else for public comment? Yes. Oh, Jen, you were here first?
She's going to go first.
Okay. I don't want to go out of order here. I'll get yelled at.
Hi, Erica Bauer, 42 Mountain Avenue. I just wanted to circle back to the pickleball open play. Just echoing some of the things that Simon already discussed, but a couple things that I thought were relevant is with open play, there is a standard rules. Everybody uses them. Everyone in every other town uses them. They're used all over the nation. Why is that important? It decreases disputes. If you go on to, if it's a drop-in and somebody shows up with 4 people, you can sit there and play for your hour. If I show up by myself and I want to play, they don't have to let me. So I have a little story. In Florida, I moved there. I knew no one. I walked into a place that had open play. They allowed me to play with them. I felt, honored by that. I felt included. I've gone to other places where, a higher skill level, I'm intimidated, I'm a new player. I think it's good for our community. There's a lot of new players. There's a lot of people that are new to the town. What better thing than saying, we accept you. We allow you any skill level to come play with us. That's the town that I want to live in. And I would be proud if we had open play versus drop-in. To go back to, if someone wants to book the court, the rules of open play are there's 6 courts there. So if they are not filled, you do not have to leave the court. So if there's 5 courts that are filled, you can stay on. It's only when 24 people are playing is that you actually have to leave and have to mix in. So, do you need to reserve that? I don't know that we're going to have that many people playing all at one time, except for maybe a Tuesday night or a Thursday night or a Saturday morning. So if you wanted to play with your grandchildren, all you have to do is wait. Wait for a few minutes, and then you can go in with your group. You can hold your paddles back and wait, and then you're allowed in to play and stay with your group. So that solves the problem. I think proof of success is Tuesday night. Tuesday night we have open play right now. It is wildly popular, and people are meeting each other, and there's different skill levels, and it's the community that we're talking about. So it makes it flexible. You can just show up. You don't have to call 3 of your friends. I am constantly calling people, hey, do you want to play tomorrow? No, I have to work, blah, blah, blah. So it makes it easy. It makes it fair. I'm playing with 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, so same thing, meeting friends, so I think that's what we represent in Pequannock. So I think that's a good reason for that. Just echoing back, it's desirable, it's easy, it's fair, it's efficient, there's no disputes, all positive things. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jen Hardy, 98 Mountain Avenue, and I want to echo the gratitude for you guys. It's amazing that we have these courts. They're beautiful, we love them, and every age really appreciates them and uses them. I think I've played some of your kids. But anyway, I'm just going to point out something that might be a concern, and it's somebody who said, a friend of mine who said, I'm not ready to play open play. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. And it's exactly wrong. I'm like, absolutely. Look, we're not going to reserve a court. You're going to come down, and I'm going to grab probably Erica, because she's really good at lessons, and another friend, and we will play together throughout the night in open play. And it is just taking turns. So we sign up, we play for 11 to 14 minutes. When our time is done, we sign ourselves up again as a foursome. So the foursome does not have to get disrupted. So new players are welcome. Honestly, Eric has probably taught 24 people how to play. And that's the beautiful thing about pickleball. It's so welcoming. It's a culture. It's a movement, really, but it really is multi-generational, and it is so accepting of new people. We've met new people from town. We've met new people to sport. So it's open play, in my opinion, is the only way that the pickleball courts will be used to maximum amount. If we insert, an appointment schedule, in people's minds, they'll just go to another town, or they'll go join the Wayne Club, which has happened to a lot of people. They can't play at Pequannock because there's people who book the courts, so they have joined other towns' Parks and Recs courts in order to play. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Yes, come on up. You're hiding behind the pole.
Hi, my name is Joe Fanara. I'm not a resident of the town. However, after driving through it, I'd consider it. I'm from Affordable Cartage, and I'd like to address the resolution R2025, 147, and 148, which is the rejection of bids, collection, removal, disposal of garbage and bulk waste, along with the collection of recycling services. If you allow me, I'd like to discuss the $4 million difference in the bids over 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm from Affordable Cartage, and we were the low bid. It's $4 million less over 5 years. Mr. Uzdike sent an email to me informing us that we had a minor technicality and we were dismissed because of it. I recommended dismissing our bid because of it. I'd like to ask for a review of it. I think for the difference in bid and a minor technicality and $4 million, I'd just like a review, basically, rather than just passing it through tonight. For Gata, who's your collector now, to drop $3 million, I would find it very odd if he would do that. I'd find it more likely that I would raise my bid, being a businessman, saying, well, I was so low, maybe I should go higher. But I would stand by the bid. I just would like a review, and I don't want to take any more of your time. I thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you. I'll
Mr. Fanaro.
Right?
Could you spell your last name?
President Frank, E-N-E-R-A.
She's over there.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Did you get it, Carol?
No.
F-A-N-A-R-A.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Yes, come on up from the back.
Hi, I'm Jerry Matoro, 15 DeBow Terrace. Here just to also expand on the pickleball and the open play. I played on a lot of different courts. Most of them are free, and all of them use open play. That's been in Florida, that's been in New York, that's been down the shore, a lot of places. So this whole concept of not having to pay and not having to book a court is not a new concept. And what Jen said is absolutely correct. I've made friends because of open play that I would not have made, and pickleball people are the best people in the world. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, come on up.
I'm here again to support that open play for the pickleball.
Can you just state your name just for the record, please?
I live on the 16 Oak Avenue in the Pequannock, and I do play pickleball every single day in different towns. I go Fairfield, I go Mahwah, and everywhere open plays where I can make new friends, more friends, and it's a socialization event, specifically in the digital world. People are stick to the phones, and the digital is better to have open place, and that way we can have more people coming into town and we have good friendship. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Yes, come on up.
Good evening. Michael Coppola, 27 Arundel Road, Pompton Plains. Again, just want to echo the comments that everybody else has made about open play and pickleball. It's a great facility. Thank you guys for putting the funds forward and following the project through. It's beautiful. It's more than what we asked for. But we do need a system in place, and like the others have said, open play is the way to go. Everywhere else you go play, it's open play. Court reservations just cause us problems. You get a bunch of people that decide they're going to block out whatever period they want for 2 months, and then the rest of us stand on the side to share a court. It's just not a good thing. As Simon, Jen have said, Erica, the games only take 11 to 14 minutes. You rotate in and out. It's a system that you can use paddles with a paddle rack or a board, sign your name. Any skill level could play together. I mean, I only started playing 2 years ago. Most of the people that are sitting here I met at those pickleball courts. I didn't know them before. It's a great thing. I just think we really need to think about the way we allow people to use the courts and utilize them. And just one other thing, there's an app called Team Reach, just to give you a scope of how many people are interested in open play. I just looked as I was sitting here. 159 people in Pequannock are on the Team Reach app for open play. That's a pretty good number that everybody's communicating through to say, I'm going to go down and play tonight. Who's coming? This and that. But it's all about open play. It's not reservation. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else for open comment or public comment? Open public. Same thing.
Open play.
Open play. There we go. That's why I put open and comment together. Okay. All right. Seeing none, we're gonna just close the public comment sections. Mr. Brewer, would you like to address some of this pickleball stuff? I know we were going to talk about it a little later, but.
Sure, well, if Terry
sounds like a good idea, but
yeah,
I don't.
I'll go in order of the comments. Mrs. McMahon spoke about the
sidewalks.
Sidewalks, yes. There was discussion where there was simply direction sought from the governing body in terms of options. So no one's doing anything for design purposes yet. Appreciate your feedback. Got it. We've received, I think, 8 responses. I'll be reporting back to the governing body in August with a summary of what those responses are and recommendations are. The direction was only descended on to the people on the south side, so that's the reason the people on the south side only got it. So
I guess you should have. Fred didn't get it.
Fred didn't.
He's on the corner.
okay, yeah, then I don't know what happened there.
He has it though.
Yeah, and with respect to trees, I'll follow up with you to see if there are trees or your trees and how that all works. Okay. Pickleball. So there's an element in my report on this later. I had the benefit of a conversation with Mr. Hardy earlier today, so I think it'll help clarify some of the comments in the report, as well as echoing the council's comments and thanking him for what I described, I think, in May as yeoman's work, bringing all of this together with an advisory committee. If the council wants, I'll jump right to that as a component of my report. Sure. My report's next anyway. I'll just jump to item I.
Just before you say that, I'd like to thank whoever thanked us for trying to get putting the course together. It's a limited amount of funds that we like to do, but we've tried over the last couple of years is to put money into parks, at least some park every year, and that was kind of a big one for us. It was a bit coming. I'm glad we put the basketball courts in too. I know there's a lot of pickleball, but there's no basketball in that end of town, so I'm glad we were able to do that too. So.
And I think that was one of the best things we did because we thought there was a need, so we did just did the lines on the tennis courts, and then when it came out that there was a need, we knew that we could go ahead and spend quite a sizable amount of money, and it's being well used, so that's good. And I do think Simon did do a lot of work. I was on the Parks and Rec, and that was years, and he's been working and visiting and teaching and learning, and so.
Simon did a lot of work.
Yes. But before I jump to my report, Mayor, maybe Mr. Ustek wants to respond to the comment during public.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Can you just mention?
Sure. Actually, tonight, we have 2 resolutions on where we're not awarding to a low bidder because there were problems with the bids themselves and things missing. In both of those instances, the specifications, when people bid, when we do bid projects, it's based upon written specifications that have requirements and tell people what they have to provide as part of the bid. In both of the instances we have tonight, one is hauling, and the other one is the new PFAS facility. We had a situation where outside entities dictated in part to us what those specifications had to look like. And in both cases, there were mandatory items put in there. And when we put mandatory items and we use language like I'll direct it to the specifications for solid waste, we say the failure to complete or provide any of the information required herein shall result in rejection of the bid proposal. And those are the state's mandatory bids for solid waste have that direction in it. So when we received an objection to the low bid on the grounds that a form identifying the trucks and the information related to the equipment was not fully completed, we had to look seriously at that. And honestly, I think we would have been subject to a challenge if we were to award, notwithstanding the fact that the information was not provided. It was provided after the fact. And if an item is not mandatory, we can accept after the fact information. But when it's required that specifically and that kind of mandatory language is used, we don't have the option of awarding a bid. And if an objector comes forward and pursues it, our award would be turned down by the court. And that's what I fear would happen here, and we would be embroiled in litigation over awarding a bid to a low bidder that did not fully complete the bid. And that was unfortunate, and other objections were raised about the bidder. We took really don't take that part of it seriously. But we do have to take seriously errors in the bidding documents or failure to provide all the information we need. So the recommendation is to go out to bid again. And not to award. The reason that is the recommendation is there is a big discrepancy between the two bids. So the hope is we get a new opportunity. We get all the information. There's no opportunity for anybody to object to it, and we get a bid that we can award. So we're not awarding to the next lowest bidder. All because of the amount of that bid was beyond what had been budgeted and anticipated for it. That's another basis to reject a bid. When all the bids we receive are higher than the amount of the budget, and in this case, the low bid would have been a good bid for us, and probably I don't doubt would have been recommended had we not had an issue with the bid, and that's where we ended up. And the other bid is really the same story. Okay. The low bidder did not complete the bid package in a way that we believe could have been sustained if it was challenged.
So they could rebid.
They can rebid.
And
you got to be careful. This one we're doing a rebid. The other one we are awarding the next. There wasn't that much of a difference between the first and the second. So the recommendation on that one, on the PFAS, we're going to go with.
Okay.
On this one, the recommendation is to redo it.
Reject all the bids.
Go out to bid again, and hope that this time we get complete bids and we can actually award to the low bidder. And I understand the disappointment bidders have with that, and I don't dispute what you say when you say it's a minor thing. In the scheme of things, I agree with you. The way the state specs read, we made it a major thing. That put us in a position of having to reject it. And that's unfortunate.
All right, Mr. Osteig, thank you.
You bet.
So now we're going to move on to the manager's report and tie into the pickleball, this conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Rowe.
I'll run back in order then, because we did take that little sideways discussion, and as the council may attest, if I have an opportunity to save money, it crushes my soul not to be able to save money. So if there's an opportunity to save, especially the kind of money that was potentially presented to us in the bidding dynamic that was described before, it would have been a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of. With respect to my report, starting with item A, signs over Newark Pompton Turnpike.
Oh, boy.
We have catch-22, or government in action, or whatever you want to describe it. So previously, the governing body directed that we pursue, again, having signs across the turnpike, and I reached out to JCP&L because they own the poles. JCP&L said this is what you have to do. You have to get the county commissioner's approval because it's a county road. You have to provide indemnification. You have to provide a certificate of insurance. We did all of that, which of course takes some time because you have a governing body involved. We put the entire package together. You had to describe how it would be affixed to the poles. You had to provide a schematic. You had to provide time frames, what was going to be on the signs. Sent it off to JCP&L for approval, and First Energy, who owns JCP&L, came back and said you can't put any signs on the poles. So had they said that from the beginning, it would have saved a little bit of effort. But the bottom line is we are no longer permitted to have horizontal signs that connect poles. I did reach out to our area representative, who initially said this is the process you have to undertake. And I may have said rather colorfully what happened. And his response was, it's a change in policy from last year. We got to update our handbook because our handbook doesn't even cover that. So, unfortunately, we learned that the hard way.
But at least we got the answer.
But we got an answer.
Unfortunately.
And unfortunately, we got an answer we're not thrilled with, but it is in black and white.
You see them in every town now. Every town has them.
They just do it.
Montville has them. Lincoln Park has them.
Tiffany, I hear you, I hear you. But I unfortunately, we received an answer in black and white from the owner of the pole that says this is not allowed.
So if we actually had done it, it probably would have been fine, but because we tried to do the right thing.
Well, let's not forget, though, we had one up that was...
from the top of Marcos
we had one up that was...
Yeah. There you go.
Private poles, different story. We don't have any private poles on the turnpike, though.
Are you sure we can't find any?
Next item, Dollar Ride bus purchase. We have a lot of procurement action scheduled for this evening for the council's consideration. $107,000 bus purchased for Dial Ride and Dial Ride service. That's being acquired with 100% grant funds. Love doing things with other people's money that benefit us. Vegetative waste collection, as discussed previously, this was reviewed and is recommended for award. Solid waste and recycling, I'm not going to go any further into that other than there's a benefit of a written report if anybody wants to refer back to it. Mr. Oostdike did a phenomenal job there. Manor Avenue sidewalk replacement. Similarly, there was an issue, oh no, that was the one that was compliant. So that's the low bid was compliant, so no problem there. It is the affected sidewalks, as we've done in all of our projects to this point. It was not all of the sidewalks. So we have a history of not replacing sidewalks that are in good shape. Get to do more sidewalks that way, but whatever the council wants to do moving forward otherwise can be considered for Sherman. Sunset Road Phase 1, this is the one where the low bidder also had a minor issue, $4,000 difference between the low bid and the number 2 low bid. The grant covers the cost of the project. So again, this is going to be done with New Jersey Department of Transportation municipal aid money. So provided that is awarded, we look forward to that. Wells 1 and 2 PFAS mitigation. This is a significant project, $4.75 million budget, including the professional services. Essentially, it's a giant Brita that will be installed in a building next to the blending facility over on West Parkway. As the council may be aware, but for the benefit of the record, the Public Works Director and licensed water operator took the well offline when we learned there was a trace of PFAS in it, so we did not ever send water that was in violation to customers. This is mandated and has to be done, and we're using IBank. In New Jersey, it used to be called Infrastructure Trust. It's now just called IBank. Benefit there is half of the debt is interest-free, the other half is at their beneficial rate, and there's an opportunity of, they say, up to $3 million of principal forgiveness. Typically, they may give out $1 million principal forgiveness. Their fiscal year starts on July 1st, which is why we are awarding this on July 8th. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. Unfortunately, as the council is also aware, there were some significant increases in the professional services proposals because of the IBank requirements. So if you want to get the principal forgiveness and the beneficial stuff, that you have to have additional inspection and other components. Because of that, we did eat into the construction budget, so the council will see in August ordinance to consider to increase the budget. We can make the award tonight by certifying against operational funds within the water utility, but we'll need to fix that in August. And then pickleball.
Were you allowed to make a comment before we go into pickleball on this?
Sure.
I mean, we never tested for PFAS until how many years ago?
I don't want to give, we began testing 18 months before it was required. And I don't recall exactly the date it was required.
So just so the public knows, the increase in water rates was mainly because of this $4.5 million project that the DEP
statements.
Well, the initial increase in water rates was as a result of the water tank that we put on Mountain Avenue.
Correct.
Because the one in Greenview Park required you to pump it, and gravity's much cheaper than electricity.
But this also increased our rates.
This also increased the rates, correct.
Yeah. And it's mandatory that we have to have it done.
Yes. We have the lowest, I believe either the lowest or one of the lowest thresholds in the union for PFAS. So we're going to put the big Brita in, and off we go. It's about a 2-year construction phase, so time to move forward. The award tonight is subject to the approval of IBank. So if the resolution is read carefully, it says this is being done subject to their review, and it's a have to. This is not an optional thing, it's a have to. Pickleball. May discussion, direction from council was to create a proposed schedule for open play, as well as other reservation times, and obviously court use by Parks and Recreation for the league and other elements that Parks and Rec would be scheduling. So within my memo, you have kind of a proposed schedule there. Again, having the benefit of a conversation with Mr. Hardy, I want to kind of clarify something. Parks and Rec program, kind of item A, that stands alone. Open play as described, that would be the open play that is common among pickleball courts. And then all other times not identified could be for reservation. The idea there would be, if there's a reservation, someone could use it. If there's no reservation and the court is open, it could be used. If all courts are being utilized and there's no reservations, it would turn into open play. So that's kind of how that would be governed. Exactly what ratios and whatever the council would like to see, we'd be happy to implement. As I said in May, I think this is going to be an evolution. I don't think this is a one-and-done situation. So whatever the council wants to direct, we'd be happy to work with everyone to make sure is clear and obvious and unambiguous. With respect to memberships, area towns do have memberships. There had been discussion about establishing an annual fee. If we're going to be doing the reservation, we would need memberships to govern who has access, because that was one of the glaring omissions with the issues that occurred in 2024. I agree, Community Pass is not the best of anything. It's what we have right now. I think the pickleball stuff is all evolving. We would need to figure that out, but that would be something that would have to, move forward, much like we have with the fields. There's a human element with respect to the people who have the ability to make the reservation, so if there's abuse, it can be addressed. Is it perfect? No, but it would be better than it was in 2024.
Is there an ability to shut off the availability for reservations 1 hour before?
I'd have to check.
So somebody
Or 24
doesn't do
hours.
what Simon said. Well, I don't know if 24 hours, because somebody gets home from work and, they want to go sit and learn how to play with their kid for an hour and they want to reserve a court, but you don't want what Simon said happen. Somebody sitting there doesn't feel like waiting, so goes on the phone.
Right.
That's kind of rude.
This is my suggestion. I mean, we have Parks and Rec programs on Monday from 5 to 7:30 for 3 of the 6 courts. On Thursday from 5 to 10 for league play, all 6 courts. I say we stick with that, and everything else is open play.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we should have some time to reserve.
Vince, your thoughts?
I think there should be some time to reserve.
Do you have that written down?
Vince, your thoughts?
Yeah, that written down.
And then if nobody reserves the court, then it is open play.
I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't be opposed to maybe some type of reservation piece for an hour or 2 a day, but I think open play seems to be the most popular way
Right,
to
open
do
play is
it.
the most popular, but if somebody wants to go
But,
and sit
I'd like
and
to
play
have,
for an hour.
but I'd just like to have like a little bit more discussion about what happens, is it possible to reserve the courts for an hour or 2 a day? Like, I don't know if there are certain times, just to have the discussion, because I don't know a lot about pickleball, you know what I mean? Like, so what happens, like, say, I don't know anything about pickleball, right? But my daughter say, hey, Dad, let's go, not that it's gonna happen, because they never say that, right? Like, let's go play pickleball, let's go figure this out, and now, here we are, a couple of, just looking at the ball, and trying to get off. I mean, I don't know, but I think it's worth the discussion.
It's July. Let's do the rest of the year with those 2 time slots and open play and see how it goes.
Melissa, thoughts?
I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
no, I was going to say, and I haven't played pickleball either except once, but,
Well, we have somebody that can
we have
teach us.
Right, no, but
Stand in the kitchen.
I'm looking at the players, they seem to really know the way it should be. I tend to agree with Dave that this can be an evolving thing, we can make changes. Let's see how it goes, see if people complain that they can't reserve.
Yeah, and then Simon and I we can discuss it in Parks and
I
Rec.
think we should give some time for
Where would you give it?
anything, even one day. Because myself, and I know all you guys, and I would go play, but I would not show up to play with you. I went down the shore and I played with my son for about an hour and a half on the court. I don't want to play for 11 minutes and then get off and wait again. I would like to go and just go one time with him and just learn how to play, because I'm really bad at it. And I just wouldn't go to open play. And I know everybody. It's not like I wouldn't know. I wouldn't do it.
I understand.
But I would reserve a court for an hour to go sit with my son and play, or both my sons, and they would have a good time slamming it at me, I'm sure. But I think doing that allows people to go with their kids and play for an hour and then get off the court. I mean, we have 6 courts. If somebody can't reserve one, there's plenty of other room for open play.
So, question, can I ask a question? How many times do you go there, all 6 courts are being used? Well, it's just open.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, like, if you go to another town, are all the courts... We fully expect, to your point, John, we fully expect that with open play, especially on the popular nights, which would be Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday mornings, we'll have people waiting. All the way. 24 people will be playing, and we'll probably have... With the old courts, our record was everybody, 12 people playing, and 44 people waiting.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, yeah, I get everybody's point. My thought is the programs, yes, open play, yes. The other one just seems very confusing to me about what times you can reservation, which times you don't reservation. So, I mean, I would lean with Dave. It's either one or the other. Pick a horse. And let's see how this year goes, and then we'll adjust it for next year, since by the time we get going, the year's half over anyway, so.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah, no, and that's my thought too, unless you can find a particular time or day that they can do a reservation
Right, I
where
would
you feel
say,
like when
pick
people...
at least one day that somebody
know
can
what
say,
that day
I
and
want to go
time
play
is.
for an hour. Because everybody can play, but you can't play for an hour straight, correct?
No, because may I address the numbers? So let's I have this. I wrote down this great AI example of exactly that. But let's just say you went down to the court with your son and two other people to play, and everybody was already on. You would only wait. Average game of pickleball is about 14 minutes. 6 courts, you'd be waiting 2.5.
Yeah, you see it.
Not if there's 44 people waiting.
No, you would wait longer.
So now I'm playing for 11 minutes, and then I'm waiting for 15 minutes, and then I'm playing for 11 minutes. So if I could just reserve it for an hour.
Time out. All right, I think we're
Okay,
good.
sorry.
So it's like, I have my opinion, with Dave has his, Ms. Melissa, and then we have other opinions over here. So, let's put this to bed.
Can I throw something out there?
Sure.
All right, so we
got his opinion to it.
No, I just make recommendations. I don't get opinions. Based upon the comment made from Mr. Hardy in the audience, Wednesday seems the day that's less popular than the rest of the day.
Yeah, so find us...
So do we want to identify some time on Wednesday when it could be reserved from X to Y, and then everything else is open play?
Okay. I mean, does that seem reasonable? Like, find...
5 to 7?
Well, let's just talk about it up here. I just don't want to keep going back and forth, but...
5 to 7?
So we do 5...
Do 5 to 9. There's lights.
Yeah, that's a lot for reserving it.
But if it's not reserved, you can plan. Was the point of the recommendation from the staff?
I don't think you're going to get a lot of reservations.
If there's no reservation, you show up to play.
You're going to have a lot of open play anyway.
There's problems with reserving it. How are we going to correct?
Right.
We got to work that out.
Yeah, well,
I don't have an answer for that tonight.
But you want to put... What do you suggest, though?
I say my first choice is to go with
I agree.
Mondays and Thursdays.
But we're trying to compromise.
And Wednesdays from 5 to 8.
Okay, Wednesdays 5 to 8 is reservations. All right, I'm just going to throw this out there, just get a yay or nay. Okay, everything else, the Parks and Rec is
And
what
I
it
say
is.
we'll do this.
Open play is the rest.
5 to 8, 3 courts.
Yeah, you can't do all the courts.
3 of the 6 courts you can reserve.
All right, good. Vince?
Check, good.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Can I say one more
Melissa?
thing?
I need to confirm that before we go too far.
Yeah, you
I got to write this down, and I don't want to mess it up.
You got to figure out if you can do it, and does that make
See if we all
sense?
agree.
Yeah. So
You're going to get people who never come and play here.
I would just want...
lady and gentlemen, so just to clarify, to make sure I'm not messing this up, Parks and Recreation programs, that's okay. We're good with that.
5 to 7:30 Mondays.
People will have an opportunity to reserve 3 of the 6 courts on Wednesday from 5 to 8, and everything else is open play.
Correct.
Yes.
Is that consistent
Can we live
with what
with
the
that,
council's
Karen?
directed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And obviously, again, if there's no reservations, there's no demand for reservation, the issue can certainly be revisited without a lot of stress.
And then we can take a look at it in Parks and Rec.
I will say one more thing.
After 6 months.
We need signage ASAP.
Yeah.
I was there last night, 3 kids on electric bikes, right into the basketball court on their bikes, drops them on the court. I said, oh, fellas, Bikes are on the other side of the fence. So, you know, we don't have any signs there, so.
We should make smaller gates.
Right. And, you know,
I love your optimism that the sign will work.
But
well, I mean, I think we
love
need,
it.
not signs, I think we need signs.
I understand.
Isn't there a song like that? Sign.
Everywhere signs. Something up the scenery, I don't know what's going on.
No, but at least if we got signs, we got some point to something.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Brewer, you have it?
I have direction. Thank you.
And we'll just monitor
Ladies and
it
gentlemen.
and see how it goes.
And
I think that's a good compromise.
And council's okay with the fee?
Whatever they want.
Out-of-town fees?
I would support an out-of-town fee, but I don't support residents of our town paying a fee.
I support an out-of-town fee, and I would support a very small fee for residents if we're going to charge residents, so they have a badge or whatever.
Is it like a processing fee? Something like that?
$10 to cover the cost of materials.
Yeah, $10. $10 a year?
You need a card.
You gotta get a card?
Yeah.
Like a badge?
Yeah. We could use like a PV Park.
It's like a membership
ID.
ID for a year.
So just has a random person just go and play that. Like if I want
Just,
to
we
get
can't,
my-
just, if you want, you can come later. I don't want to start this back and forth, otherwise we'll never get out of here tonight. So, but.
Yeah, that's
So you're
Well,
saying
there'll be
go
a sign saying if you want to play, you gotta go to town, you know, or even online or whatever it is, I don't know.
And that's how previously the tennis courts were managed when they were heavily used and we had
That's right. I
have staff
remember
there. So that was the way it was
Okay,
20
we
years
have
ago.
a start date for that, like September 1st?
It's going to be in the fall because the ordinance would need to be effective. Our next
Yeah.
regular meeting is in August. September would be adoption. So right now it's going to just be open.
So it's going to be open?
Right now it's just open. Everything's open.
So if you want to try it now before you spend your $10.
All done.
And
we'll see how that
question,
works.
Is the fee going to be for the new 6 pickleball courts? So if someone isn't a
Yes.
member, they could play on the other 3 courts for free?
It can be.
Well, that's
Now
confusing.
you're making it really complicated.
I mean, it can be. We're getting a little...
I think we're too far in the weeds.
Eventually those courts will be resurfaced as well.
Yeah, let's just keep
So I
this
think it
simple.
needs a universal.
This is a pickleball court.
This is me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, who's going
And we're supposed to play
to
on it.
monitor it?
We're public employees after all. We got to be careful. Okay.
I would say no.
There's no one there looking.
If you know, just go play. But
All right, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah,
This
really,
is getting
just
very
go.
complicated.
Okay. I will have a draft ordinance for consideration or amendment at the August meeting.
Oofa. All right. Any other questions from council on any of the other township manager report?
Thank you for getting free money to the Dino Ride bus.
Yeah, that's
Credits to
great.
staff. Staff did an excellent job.
Yeah, all right. Always good with that. And then
Oh, you guys don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting?
We're not going.
Thanks, guys, for your input and your work.
All right, so on the vegetative waste thing, how much more this year is it than last year?
Approximately $40,000.
Right, no, so just everybody knows, you know, we're keeping this vegetated waste collection, but it is costing us
More money.
quite a bit more money, but we're gonna hang on to it for now. So just as part of the tax things going up, so.
You can't. It's open play.
All right, we still talking about pickleball? Jeez, you're driving me batty. Right, any other comments on the township manager's report?
No.
Good. Now we are moving on to the next item, which I don't even know what it is.
Resolution.
Public hearing.
Okay, public hearings.
Oh, none. Public hearings, there is none. Ordinance for introduction, there are none for tonight. So resolutions for approval. Ms. Marsh.
For the council's consideration this evening, beginning with Resolution R 2025-144, authorizing the execution of agreement concerning sewer use payment delinquency. 2025-145, appointing members of advisory committees. 146, authorizing the use of Bergen County Cooperative Pricing System for the purchase of a 2024 Ford E350 Eldorado Advanced Driver Plus 12 passenger bus. 147, rejecting all bids for the collection, removal, and disposal of garbage in bulk weight. 148, rejecting all bids for recycling collection services. 149, awarding a contract for vegetative waste collection service to the Blue Diamond Disposal of Mount Arlington, New Jersey for the contract amount of $1,842,000 for a 5-year term in accordance with the bid specifications. 150, awarding the contract for the Wells 1 and 2 PFAS treatment project to Sovereign Consulting Incorporated. 151, authorizing awarding the contract for Manor Avenue sidewalk replacement to Cedar Contracting Company Incorporated. 152, authorizing an extension of the township sanitary sewer line with waivers and the execution of a sanitary sewer extension agreement with Ebenezer Netherlands Reformed School. 153, authorizing the acceptance of a hold harmless agreement for 70 West Parkway. 154, authorizing the acceptance of a hold harmless agreement at 3 Arundel Road. 155, awarding the contract for the Sunset Road South Sunset Lane to West Parkway reconstruction project to Cefelli & Son General Contracting Incorporated. 156, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 157, authorizing the release of deposits for construction in the township right-of-way. And 158, authorizing payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the July 3rd, 2025 bill list and FEMA elevation escrow list.
Thank you, Ms. Marsh. Get her a cup of water.
You're welcome.
All right, any comments from council?
Yeah, I have a few. The first one's easy on Resolution 2025-144. I brought this up already to Carol. I just noticed that on the resolution, if we do go with the 5-year, that resolution says 3 years, so we would just change it.
We can correct that.
We can correct that? Okay. And
where did you say 5 on the list?
Under the 2025-1.
In the whereas, it says
I was
44.
assuming that we were going to go with the 5-year.
Oh,
we are.
Yeah, I know.
That's what's
it says 3
It
years.
has been confusing, so.
And then
okay.
what's in here is we have the old one that we originally gave direction on, and then there's a new proposed one for 5 years with no interest? Is that what's on here?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Well, there's interest from 2024 until February of 2025.
Okay.
But the balance of the payments are not amortized with additional interest.
Okay.
So there's that limited period of interest, but no addition.
Okay. So that was my only question.
No, the interest was that specific period, but it's not as if there's a rate being applied to the 5-year repayment schedule of greater interest.
Got it. Okay. And
Consistent
then,
with direction.
okay. And then I was just trying to understand on the Netherlands Reformed Church resolution. So this has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they need to be on sewers now. They're requesting to go on sewers. Is there
That's
another
right.
reason?
This is all around that.
Is it all around that?
It's all around their desire to connect to sewer. Now,
Right.
because it's an unusual connection, it's going to go through someone else, from one property through another property to the sewer line.
Yeah.
Because of that, that's normally not permitted under the ordinance, so we're allowing that under these circumstances.
I just didn't know if it had anything to do with the fact that we were just talking about across the street not being charged, I didn't know if it was all connected.
No, this has been in the works for...
So it's just the church.
Longer than I've been here.
Right.
Yeah, it's...
And then we were talking about the fact that there's a couple of structures or properties.
Yeah, and Mr. Scangarella is here, who represents the applicant here, and I asked, I don't know, Frank, if you had got any update on that.
I was able to speak to Mr. Van Butt before the meeting, and he said his property, which is adjacent to the church property, they just installed 3 years ago a $50,000 septic system for that property.
Okay.
And he said adjacent to that property are the greenhouses. He said that's always operated, it's never had an issue with the load, they have no expectation of connecting. But the genesis of this, I think Melissa was asking that question, the school, right, is on a septic system, and they're routinely having to pump that. So they were trying to get this done by September, but obviously it's not going to happen. But they'll take what they can get if they can get the approval, because this has been a long-standing problem for them.
Thank you.
So, Frank, can I call you Frank?
Yes, you
So the $50,000 septic went into the smaller house that Mr. Van Voot owns, that he sells the eggs and the flowers at?
No, there's a rental property right in front of the church. I'm sorry.
School. Yeah.
That's the house that will be connected.
Oh, that's the house that will be connecting. So the house that John lives in is not going to be connected.
It's the larger house that's set back.
Because he just put in a new septic, which is this one here.
Adjacent to the
greenhouse.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
So it's the school and the smaller house that's going to be connecting. So.
All right, Melissa, anything else?
I think that's it. If I have something, yeah, I think that's it.
All right, David?
I just want to make sure that everyone that needed to be notified for the South Sunset West Parkway construction project has been notified, because I believe there may be some changes in curbing in front of some of the houses.
Notification hasn't gone out yet because we haven't awarded the contract.
Okay.
So once the contract is awarded, there's a pre-construction meeting scheduled. There's typically an initial notice that goes out, heads up this is happening within a specific period of time, and then 2 or 3 days before the paving actually occurs, there are door hangers displayed so people know to move their cars.
Perfect.
So we will follow the usual notification process.
Okay. I think there's only 1 or 2 houses that's going to really...
Kyle, any comments?
No.
No.
Vince? No?
Good.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions R 2025-144 through R 2025-158.
Second. Okay, and about, just on 144, we're doing the 5-year.
Good one, Vince.
Yeah, on the 144, we're doing the 5-year.
Yes.
And if the mayor and council can permit, one of the requests of the business was to make a good faith payment, which I can confirm they did make, consistent with the agreement had it been executed.
All right, good, thank you for that. So roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Dreese?
Yes. Moving on to item number 12, discussion items, the dog park at Lyman Park. Who wants to start? We left off, we were going to look at it. Some people want to look at it.
Been there, I think.
Councilwoman Russell and I went and we looked at it. We think that the fence should be moved in 15 feet from the swing set, and possibly some of the trees that are to the left of the, if you're facing the dog park, to the left of the dog park, maybe be removed so that playing area can become a little bigger for wiffle ball or kickball or whatever they want to play there.
Right, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Thin it out.
Yeah, thin it out.
I would also like to mention that the playground there could use some help too.
Yeah.
Some mulching, there's some roots coming up.
Well, just to be compliant, we probably have to do a lot with the playground anyway, right? It's just
usual operation.
Work in progress.
And Morris County Mosquito Control was there supposedly a couple days before.
I don't know if they did anything.
But I also agree. I went there and visited, and I initially was talking about going back to Foothills Park, but I understand where it's staying there. But I do think it's too close to the swing set, and it needs to go back 15 feet. I don't necessarily think we need to raise the height of the fence that we were talking about, but I do think it needs to be moved back, and I do think we need to make some improvements over there. I would love to see the one at Foothills. I went to Foothills and I was like trying to figure out if there was a way to get that back. I keep thinking, why can't you bring Phil in there? And it's not a flood area.
Dave and I took a walk over there, and man, it's been years since I went. That place.
It's a disaster.
It needs a new fence.
It needs a new fence. It needs everything, and everything. All that stuff while the water's low should be taken out.
We're working on it.
And
cleaned out.
Yeah, it would have been great to have one at each end, but.
Well, there's, like I said, I'm in favor of having 2 dog parks, but it needs money to fix it.
Yeah. So, Vince, any comments?
No, I think we should push it back 15 feet.
Okay. Okay, and then we talked about last time about some planting buffer in front of the fence.
I think that's going to be tough, because I think the deer will destroy whatever we plant there.
Yeah, I don't know what you can put there.
We just talked about it last time, so I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Well, and just to clarify, so the fence that's currently 4 feet is remaining at 4 feet?
Yes.
Or do we want a higher fence?
I would leave it at 4 feet.
I'd leave it at 4 feet too.
Okay.
just leave it and see if...
I don't know if we could put, somebody had mentioned holly there or something. My big concern is would that impede the airflow back there?
I don't know if the airflow is an issue. There'd be more of a screening issue in terms of being able to see it from the road, but it's something that we could work to design and try to...
Yeah, I mean, if you can find something that the deer are not going to eat.
Okay.
That would be the big thing.
We don't want a buffet.
But yeah, you also don't want it where, kids have a place to go and hang out at night where they know nobody can see them.
I don't think it's going to be that dense.
All right, so the direction that I'm confirming is move the fence by the swing set back 15 feet. Leave that as a 4-foot fence, investigate screening to see if there's something that would survive the area, and thin out the trees, especially some little ones to increase the play area.
So if they want to go play ball.
And then just that area in general, we're talking about cleaning up. Like there was some things I pointed out, like that.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
well, while we're there,
like some other areas.
Spruce it up a bit.
Yeah, it's not been
over the course of
addressed in a long time, so we're working.
A lot of parks haven't been addressed for a long time. And we're working on that. We're working on that.
A little bit at a time.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, reports and notices, there are none. So moving on to council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
I really don't have much. Aren't you shocked? The only thing I was going to say...
Wait, and then she'll talk for 20 minutes.
Well, I will say a couple things. No, but it's small. Peter, thank you for reporting on the zoning application process for economic development. The only other thing they're kicking around, but I don't know that there's been formal discussions with the town manager yet, is economic development is talking about getting Christmas wreaths for the light poles at Christmas time, where I guess they would pay for them, but then they would need like DPW to help install them probably. So that might be some discussion. I'll send...
It's underway.
It's underway?
It's underway. Public Works is engaged. The question is, does it create a height issue with the sidewalks, and how far does it stick out, and how logistics are being...
Right, okay, so you're working on that.
We will get back to the group.
And the survey, there is a business owner survey that is this close to going out. The idea behind the business owners survey is basically looking for feedback on how businesses feel about the approval process, opening up a business in town, and I don't know how many questions are on there, 15, 20?
Too many.
Too many? Anyway. So hopefully the idea is to get some knowledge and get some feedback from the business owners so we can make some recommendations. So that's it. That's all I had.
All right, I just want to jump in, and I agree, if there's too many questions, they're not going to answer.
Right.
So I would...
No, I don't think...
10 at
Unless they have grievances.
10, 3.
Unless they have grievances.
Then we'll answer.
But I think we're working with the manager on...
Thank you. Okay. Councilman Cole.
All right, I just got a few things. Congratulations to all the graduates from PV school and the high school. A bunch of us attended PV.
PV graduation.
We did not go to the high school because they moved it inside, and we don't want to take a seat for grandma and grandpa, so we all decided not to go for that. So both fire departments met in June. Everything's good there. They both will meet this week. Company 1 moved to this week because of the 4th of July. They usually meet the first Friday of the month, and that was the 4th, so they moved it to this Friday. So there's a meeting on Thursday for Company 2 and Friday for Company 1. And I would just like to thank everyone that was involved in the PV Park rescue this past week. I think we should invite all of them to the council meeting in August to thank them personally, in person. I heard there was residents that jumped in, lifeguards, young lifeguards at PV Park, our first aid squad, our police department, our paramedics. I mean, it's never a good thing when I hear CPR in progress on a scanner. Just wanted to thank everyone for doing that. And her daughter posted the next day that her mom was in ICU and doing well. So hopefully positive thoughts for her continued health, and I think maybe we should ask them to come.
Yeah, I heard from people on the beach too that our lifeguards were phenomenal. Just, they heard guard, they went in, they didn't they were awesome, and kudos to them, and they're just kids.
And kudos to the town and the person that runs PV Park.
Yeah.
Rumor has it there was counselors there the next day, helping the kids get through it.
Yeah, awesome all the way around.
Thank you, Dave. Councilwoman Russell.
I have a quick question for Dave. Dave, there was a post by one of the fire department on Facebook that there's a scam going around with their turkey. What was that?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of people, they jump on these posts and they say, hey, you can buy a shirt or you can, make a donation through this organization.
Oh, is this for the 5K?
Yeah, so that's what it was.
And so somebody was just scamming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So, the person that posted it just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that it's only going to Pequannock Company 1
Right.
if you are making a donation. You're not making it to a third party.
Right, okay.
Or a t-shirt company that,
I know. So, okay. First aid. They had 114 calls in June. 41 went to Cedar Crest, so getting up there again. They were good for a while, but, a lot of calls. Environmental, we did have a meeting, but only Tom and I showed up. At the last meeting, nobody else came. We were like, where is everybody? There was some women there talking about, garbage and recycling and all that, so it was kind of interesting, but it was a very short meeting. September 20th is hazardous waste collection at PV Park, so everybody keep that in mind. Hoedown is 10/18, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Kyle.
What type of hazardous waste will they allow?
It's for the MUA,
So you can go on their website.
There's a very descriptive flyer of what is and is not acceptable.
Yeah.
No plutonium.
No radioactive material.
No radioactive material.
Back to
Councilman Saracusa.
So no Parks and Rec meetings, July and August, right? And at the open space is supposed to meet next week, but I'm not sure if that's postponed for this month or not. I have to just send an email and find out.
Well, just so you didn't miss your meeting, we had a nice talk on pickleball tonight.
We had a very nice pickleball discussion. So very in-depth and informative.
I think there's more than that.
It's compromised.
You good?
Talk to.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, thank you, Vince. A couple things for me. Shade Tree Committee did not meet. There was nothing on the agenda. Hope everybody had a nice 4th of July weekend. We actually had sun on Saturday and Sunday. First time in a while, so I like that. I think our Little League teams have been doing good. Girls 12U were playing on Washington tonight. I was trying to go, but didn't make it. Started at 6. So good luck to them as they move on in the sectionals. Peter, thank you for your help and the committee's help with that. I'll pass on that for now. And then, Dave, didn't the junior firefighters went to a class or something?
So I think there's 5 junior firefighters. It's not just a class. It's 180 hours of training.
Wow,
The only good thing that I asked, I said, so they go through this training as a junior. So when they turn 18, do they have to go back? So they said no. They're just changed from a junior to a regular firefighter. So it's a commitment.
That's a big commitment for younger people to volunteer. And a volunteer. And I'm glad we changed our rules to allow the neighboring towns in, because young people that want to do it, we should let them. So.
And some of them go on. I just noticed. I think it was Joseph Carapesso, who was one. He started out as a young kid, and I think he's working for Patterson now.
Yeah, he just made it through
He just went
training.
through the training through Patterson, and he started out
as a junior.
Like 16,
and he's
maybe even younger.
He's still a fireman at Company 1.
Yeah, he is. A great kid, great family.
Very good. Good. And like they said, just thank you to all our lifeguards at PV Park for just jumping in and going. There's no thinking. They just reacted the way they were trained. So thank you to the staff. Thank you for everybody that ran that. And then again, I just like to be thankful for what we have in the state. There's other states that are going through some major stuff. So I just want to be thankful for what we have, in my humble opinion. So that's what I have. Next on the agenda is public comment. Round number 2. As a reminder, we welcome comments, suggestions, and questions rather than dialogue. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Yes, come on up.
Good evening, Megan Dempsey. I have some remarks prepared, but a couple of comments about other things that happened at the meeting. First, regarding the dog park, and there was discussion about planting. We have an amazing environmental commission and open space committee, so hopefully they'll be consulted because they are probably the experts on what the deer won't eat, what will work, what won't impede airflow, that sort of thing. So, and then I can't believe I'm about to talk about pickleball, but I was intrigued by all of the conversation, and so I looked at what was in the agenda, and what actually stood out to me was the annual membership fee, which we all know this money was taken from all of our taxes to build these courts, and it seems mind-boggling and absurd to me that we're now also going to charge a membership fee to use these courts. Apparently we did this for tennis at some point. I would have fought against that as well, but I think that's absurd. It is not a private pickleball court. It is public courts that should be for the use of the public. Yes, we should have signs to keep the bikes off of it. It's not going to work. I can tell you that from experience with the high school track. But these are public use facilities that our taxes have already paid for. So I really hope that that's going to be further discussed and eliminated, because it seemed like, again, that seems absurd to me. And the casual player who, the only time I've touched a pickleball racket was to wrap it for my 9-year-old for Christmas, and I'm going to have to pay an annual membership fee to go down to Greenview Park and play pickleball with her? That's insane. So I just wanted to say that. And on Saturday, June 14th, the Pequannock Democratic Committee held a peaceful and successful No Kings rally, along with 2,000 other locations nation and worldwide. We had close to 500 attendees join with the 5 million other people attending protests that day around the country and around the world, because in America, we said no to a king in 1776, and we refused to stand by silently while today's wannabe king wasted $40 million sending tanks into the streets of Washington, D.C. for his own birthday parade. I'm grateful to the Pequannock police officers who were there that day, and I thank them for their presence. Despite the handful of counter-protesters shoving their cell phone cameras in attendees' faces and yelling, trying to stir up anger and violence, throwing ice cubes in the street in some sort of twisted and sad mockery, and even hitting one of our protesters in the head with his flag, it was the peaceful demonstration against authoritarianism and presidential overreach that we planned for it to be. But it did not escape my notice that one of those counter-protesters, proudly waving his Trump flag, was a library board of trustee member appointed by this council, giving credence to residents' concerns often voiced that you have loaded up that board with individuals who don't actually value public libraries, seeing as that is one of the fundamental American institutions Trump would love to see abolished, like public television and radio, museums, the free press, and any other cultural institutions that have freedom of thought, truth in history, a commitment to facts, and social justice as their core mission. Pequannock will not be immune to the impacts of this regime and its unlawful actions, no matter how small a town we are or how insulated you hope we remain. While our demonstration did attract residents from neighboring towns like Wanacue, Lincoln Park, Ringwood, and West Milford, there were hundreds of Pequannock residents there too, and those who joined us did so because they believe that our town and theirs need to stand strong in the face of the systematic dismantling of democracy and attempts to turn this country into a police state that only benefits billionaires. Without FEMA, without National Weather Service staff, without the IMLS, without a functioning Department of Education, without SNAP, without Medicare, even Pequannock will be a very different place with a lot more need and a lot less resources to support its residents. We should all be in the streets saying no to this, thanking our state and federal representatives who are saying no and maligning those who are letting it happen.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Megan, which library trustee hit somebody in the head?
I didn't say he hit him in the head. He was there with his Trump flag. Jason had it.
Okay. Gotcha. So what? He's allowed to go someplace with a flag. Okay.
Okay, anybody else for public comment? Oh, no? Okay. No, I thought you were putting your hand up. Yes, come on up. No, you were.
No, I don't.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And Mr. Saracusa, didn't the committee suggest the fee for the pickleball?
They discussed the fee, yes.
Yeah. They actually recommended that. And I think we said like $10 a year?
For residents?
Yeah.
That was
$100, I think.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Evening, Council. Sharon Taylor, Plumpton Plains. I don't have a speech written. I just had a few questions for the council, or more for Mr. Brewer. My first question is Jacksonville Road. I know that we talk about a lot of trees and plantings. I was wondering if there's any plans to kind of put any shrubbery or something in between the sidewalk and the street where the grass is. There used to be a lot of trees on Jacksonville Road, and then when they put the sidewalks in, obviously a lot of that got removed, so just to kind of beautify the road and put a little shade on the sidewalk, just seeing if there's something that could be done in the fall time. Pickleball, most people left. I think it's a great sport. I tried it. I spiked the ball one too many times because I used to play tennis, so kind of settled down and do some other activities. But I was wondering, as everybody was talking about it, I was wondering, even with this township, with Parks and Recs, do we offer any time for people that are handicapped or have disabilities, especially with the new courts that are in place? I know that they want to have open play time, but somebody that's disabled, maybe they have kids, somebody that's an adult, maybe there's a way the township can get some inclusiveness for people with disabilities. So that was just kind of a thought that I had when I was listening to everybody when they were talking. It was more or less about everybody, going there, they're healthy, they can walk, they can, but we have to remember in our township, we also have people with disabilities. So I don't know if the Parks and Recs could be collective on that, but even with any of the sports fields, if there's time that could be given to those kids and adults that need it. And then, so the dog park, I know last time we were talking, it cost a certain amount of money to put up the fence. So now we're talking about moving the fence. Is there additional cost for that? What the cost will be? And then also, kind of the pickleball, another question that I have in the past that, kind of flipping back, I'm sorry, but in the past, those tennis courts, there used to be people that would reserve that, but they would also be members, because there's a lot of costs that take care of those type of courts, and pickleball courts are the same. So if we're not going to get any type of money from people that do use it, where is that money going to come from? So as taxpayers, we do pay, we have a budget, but at the same time, if it's a group of people that use it a lot, whether they're in town or not, is there going to be a fee for them to use the courts? Because there's going to be maintenance in the long run, and that's what happened with the tennis courts in Greenview Park. They were beautiful for many, many years, but then when they lose membership or people not paying, those courts got worn down. So that's just like a two-part question about the dog park, the expense now, if we're going to move the fence back, and now you're going to put in other expense to maybe do shrubs or clean up. That chipper of 115 grand would have been nice for DPW, right? And then also with the pickleball court, and I love sports and I think it should be for everybody, but who's going to pay for all the maintenance of that? Because if you have a lot of people now doing it and it's a very popular sport, you go down the shore, some other places, sometimes there's like over 100 people using those courts. And if it comes out of the taxpayer money, it's going to be a lot more coming out of the budget for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Yes, come on up.
It's me again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Joe.
There's going to be a budget for the collection. I heard that, it was over budget. Will they be published? The budget for the collection of the recycling and trash?
We'll ask Bob once the comments period is over.
Okay, the second thing is, I just looked up on AI, there's about 60 plants and trees that deer keep away from.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. All right, anybody else for public comment? Yes, come on up.
Mary Kay Schmerman.
Yes.
I just wanted to support Paul's remarks. I want to support Megan Dempsey's remarks. I was at the protest on June 14th. It was phenomenal. It was just really wonderful to be part of a protest of what's going on in the United States today. And on July 17th, there's a nationwide protest in honor of John Lewis. It's called Good Trouble Protest. I don't know exactly where in New Jersey there are going to be some. It's a Thursday, but I'm sure there's plenty of publicity on different websites. So I honor the Democratic Committee that organized this protest. It was wonderful to meet more people. There were 22 people at the Democratic Committee meeting. There's a Democratic Committee meeting tomorrow night. And it really is important not to stay silent right now in what's happening in the United States. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we're going to close this section. I guess, Adam, Mr. Brewer, Adam? That's whatever we did. Okay. Can you, I just talked about a couple things Sharon mentioned, and I guess just some on the pickleball, if you want to address the fees. I know we talked about that before, so.
Sure. With respect to Jacksonville Road, there's no current plan to add plantings. It's just not currently in the plans. With respect to pickleball, at the moment, I'm trying to read my notes on exactly what I'm supposed to read. So the reservation, and I appreciate the comments about people who are handicapped or less comfortable or whatever else. I think that's what the council is working to address. As I noted in the discussion, it's going to be an evolving process. So if there's a demand or something that needs to be taken care of, we'd be happy to work to accommodate that. But I appreciate that. With respect to cost of maintenance, it's a municipal government. So we got, unfortunately, things that have to be maintained all over the place. So at the moment, there could be some revenue. I think it's more in terms of control of access for the residents, not a revenue builder. I think for the people who are non-residents that did not pay through their taxes to support the improvement, that's where there'd be a much higher cost. So recognizing the fact that there was already money supported by the taxpayers. And then with respect to the question about the budget, there is no budget that will be published for the collection or disposal of solid waste.
Good, thank you. Any other comments from council? No. All right, so item number 16, approval of minutes. I guess the April 22nd and May 13th regular meeting minutes for approval. Are there any comments?
Nope, that seemed fine.
Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 22nd, 2025, and May 13th of 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so they are approved. Moving on to the next item, I gotta turn my page, closed section. The next item on the agenda is a closed session discussion. Is there a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the Township Council to meet in executive session to discuss contract negotiations with the Borough of Lincoln Park for animal control services and matters of attorney-client privilege?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, at this time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for closed session. Thank you. Thank you for coming.